I'm here with Neil Roden. Neil, could you just give us a really quick introduction? Who are you and sort of what's your background?
Well, I guess my background, Adam, is in HR, and I was for 15, 16 years the Group HR Director at RBS, and then moved on to be a Senior Partner in PwC's HR practice based out of London. And then as I moved into the third age, as one does, I'm now into a sort of small portfolio of activities, and still keeping in contact with some of the things I used to do.
Great. Okay. So my first question for you is: when you were full-time hands-on an HR director, how did you envisage that HR would develop, and how do you think it has developed since then?
Well, that's a big question, but to try and be kind of brief about it, I mean, I thought HR, there were kind of two pillars of the HR function. There was a kind of an efficiency pillar and an effectiveness pillar. And the efficiency pillar was all around the cost of HR, the number of people you employed, your sort of internal cost ratio. Could you demonstrate to the business that they were actually getting bang for their buck? And that led in the HR world to things like, HR call centers and HR shared services strategies, etc., as everybody's kind of aware of that stuff. But part of that was using technology. And of course, a lot of the technologies, whether it was call center technology or marketing technology or business efficiency technology, was all around, driving that cost down. And at that time, I always thought, and I used to say, that the future of HR is technology. Technology is going to rapidly transform the HR function. And like lots of people, we went down the kind of big enterprise HR tech solution, which everybody's gone down. And, those guys were going to do everything for you. And there's a little bit of a painful lesson that, no, they're not going to do everything for you. They're going to be the base platform. And then you look at adding stuff to it. But I think the technology 15 years ago wasn't quite where it is now. And I think my parallel is with fintech, which gets a lot of airplay around financial services. And you can see small fintech startups now beginning to make inroads and really, in some cases, become quite successful. Mm-hmm. And you can also see big banks actually buying over or buying into or incorporating fintech into their strategies. So the other part of the HR thing, of course, is the effectiveness. So if we get relatively efficient, how do we make sure that we become really effective? Mm-hmm. And that's where I think this new generation of technology really now begins to add value. Because in the recruitment world, if we mapped out a recruitment process, which I remember doing, it's the biggest process in the history of the human race. And you can see inefficiencies everywhere. And you can see high-value people doing low-value work. You just see it all through the thing. So I think technology now allows the effectiveness part of HR to really go forward, because I don't think the efficiency pressures on HR are going to recede. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the ways you reduce the efficiency challenge is by increasing the effectiveness output, if that makes sense.
It does. And you've actually said to me in the past, you don't want to be paying a recruiter £50,000 a year to be scheduling diary appointments.
No, exactly. I mean, I think basically you want, highly paid, competent professional people to be doing exactly what it is they want to do and where they add most value. Mm-hmm. And I think you're looking around both processes and technology and systems to say, right, how can you help me do that?
Yeah.
Because that's what I don't want this guy or this woman wasting time doing stuff that actually could be automated or somebody else could do, or we could do in another way or somewhere else, or whatever the solution is.
Yeah. My second question is, why do you think it's important for organizations to be nurturing the populations of candidates that they might want to hire in the future?
Yeah, I've always thought that shouldn't be a strange question. I mean, if you look at the UK just now, what's unemployment? 4%. Mm. So I'll posit a view that most good people who want a job have got one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to recruit people, you're recruiting somebody who's already working, might be even happy and contented and enjoying themselves. And then you come along and say, I want you to work for me. Well, you need to know who those people are. You need to know where they are.
Yeah. You
need to know why they would ever come and work for you. And if you don't know the answer to that question, you've got a bit of, that's a bit of a kind of issue. So and the nature of the labour market now is, I think you do need to spend time and effort trying to work out who are the people that you would like to come and work for you.
Yeah.
I hate using sporting analogies, but I'm pretty sure if we go into Premiership League football clubs, there's somebody with a whole database of footballers for every position.
Yeah.
And all the way now going back into the academies of other clubs. And they're monitoring 8, 12, 14-year-olds all the way through their career on the basis that one day they might want to sign them or they may become available. And that's what companies need to do.
I've never thought about that before, but actually sporting teams are developing probably the very, very best talent pipelines of any organizations, and we should all be emulating that.
Yeah, I mean, their whole business is their view of talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And which is now global,
yeah.
And expensive and difficult and all those other things. And companies, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading about the government's 20,000, recruiting 20,000 police officers.
Yeah.
And then I read some stuff that actually you need to add into that the fact that 24,000 police officers are retiring over the next 5 years in England and Wales.
Yeah.
So the recruitment's actually 44,000.
Yeah.
And if you took 10 applicants for every role, that's 500,000 people.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, the requirements for policing in England and Wales are that you need to be graduate level. So if you just think that as an exercise, where are we going to get 500,000 potential good applicants for these 50,000 jobs in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen quickly, and it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
But it's made more difficult by the fact that you're doing that from a standing start.
Yeah.
If you had a handle on all of that for the last 10 years, it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so thank you for that. The third question is, what attracted you to the opportunity to get involved in the Candidate.ID investment round?
So the thing for me, Adam, is that one of the things I do is I do invest in some companies. I chair well, it used to be a startup. It's been going for about 5 years now. A small company in the technology SaaS space, and I help people set up their own businesses. So I think you guys have got yourself into a good market by size. You know, what's bigger than the recruitment market and the global HR universe? I mean, you'll have the statistics, but it must be globally billions of dollars size of a market.
40 billion.
40 billion. And it's probably growing as well, I would imagine. So you're in a growing market. It's a market where companies are under pressure. So they're looking for solutions. To me, technology is in that zone. That's part of the solution. And then you also hit the efficiency and the effectiveness part of that ratio, because you allow organizations to do things more efficiently, but also to get more effective. And that to me is a kind of sweet spot. So that's the reason why I got involved.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And great to have people like you on board. People like you is exactly the reason why we kind of did this. So thanks very much. And thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Adam.